When people compare electric cars with gasoline vehicles, one claim is repeated again and again that electric vehicles save thousands of dollars over time. And technically, that is true, but only if you ignore one very important detail. The biggest hidden factor is the much higher upfront price of an electric vehicle. Let's break it down using a realistic 8-year ownership period and a total driving distance of 400,000 kilometers. A typical mid-size gasoline car in the United States costs around $30,000. A comparable hybrid vehicle costs about $33,000, and a similar electric vehicle costs roughly $40,000. That means the electric car requires an additional $10,000 at the time of purchase, compared with a conventional gasoline vehicle. At first glance, supporters of EVs point out that electricity is far cheaper than gasoline. Over 400,000 kilometers, an electric vehicle would consume around 72,000 kilowatt hours of electricity. At an average home charging cost of 17 cents per kilowatt hour, the total electricity expense comes to about $12,240. A gasoline vehicle over the same distance would consume about 34,000 liters of fuel, costing approximately $34,680. This means the EV saves roughly $22,000 in energy costs alone. However, energy costs are only one part of the story. Electric vehicles also have lower maintenance costs because they have fewer moving parts, no oil changes, and less mechanical wear. Over 8 years, maintenance costs for an EV are estimated at around $6,000. For a gasoline vehicle, maintenance can reach $16,000. That creates another $10,000 in savings for the electric vehicle. But there is one major expense that cannot be ignored: battery replacement. Most EV batteries are covered by an 8-year warranty, and many last longer. But if replacement becomes necessary at the end of 8 years, the cost can easily reach $10,000. When all costs are added together, including purchase price, electricity, maintenance, and battery replacement, the total cost of owning an electric vehicle comes to about $68,240. The comparable gasoline vehicle costs around $80,680. On paper, the EV appears to save approximately $12,400 over 8 years. But here's the critical point. The electric vehicle already required an extra $10,000 on day one just to buy the car. In other words, most of the $12,000 savings merely compensate for the higher initial purchase price. The net financial advantage after 8 years is only about $2,400, and that small advantage assumes you drive an extremely high mileage of 400,000 kilometers, you charge primarily at home at relatively low electricity rates, maintenance remains low, battery replacement costs do not exceed $10,000. If electricity prices rise, charging relies on expensive fast chargers, or the battery replacement costs more than expected, that modest financial benefit can disappear entirely. This is why the economic case for electric vehicles is often less dramatic than it first appears. Yes, electric vehicles can reduce fuel and maintenance costs. Yes, they may be cheaper to own over very long distances. But after accounting for the additional $10,000 required to purchase the vehicle, the actual financial gain is far smaller than advertised. Hybrid vehicles, on the other hand, often provide nearly the same long-term savings with a much lower upfront premium and far less concern about charging infrastructure or costly battery replacement. So what is the final conclusion? If your goal is purely financial, electric vehicles are not guaranteed to deliver massive savings. After 8 years and 400,000 kilometers, the much-publicized $12,000 savings are largely offset by the $10,000 higher purchase price. That leaves only a modest advantage, one that can easily vanish depending on electricity costs, battery health, and real-world usage. For many drivers, hybrids may represent the more practical and economically balanced alternative. Electric vehicles are undoubtedly a major technological achievement and an important part of the future of transportation. But from a strictly financial perspective, the numbers show that the benefits are far more limited than marketing campaigns often suggest. NewsTold. Truth beyond headlines.